Welcome back to Voices of Today, the podcast that dives deep into the stories shaping our world, especially where youth and society intersect. Today, we're exploring a complex and timely theme: the evolving attitude of youth towards military service in Russia, the innovative appeal of the Russian army, and the troubling expansion of youth recruitment beyond borders, particularly in Africa. Let's begin with an insightful discussion featuring political analyst Dmitry Abzalov. He paints a vivid picture of the Russian armed forces, not merely as traditional military forces, but as a cutting-edge, innovative institution that plays a strategic role in safeguarding Russia's sovereignty. His key argument is that modern military technology, including inventions on new physical principles, hypersonic weapons, and developments closely tied to civilian innovations like mobile technology and internet infrastructure, positions the Russian military as a beacon of innovation. For young people, especially digital native Zoomers, this presents the army as a platform for engaging with the latest technologies beyond the battlefield. Abzalov points to youth outreach efforts like Yunarmiya, a movement supported by the Ministry of Defense, and interactive activities such as tank tournaments. These initiatives connect with the younger generation on their own terms, using familiar cultural touchpoints like popular video game franchises. This reframing turns military service from a duty or burden into an opportunity for skill building and stepping into a future filled with technological promise. He also highlights challenges: ongoing political tensions, propaganda battles, the fractured nature of what's often called the collective West, and continuous external attempts to influence Russia's youth. The solution, according to Abzalov, lies in crafting clear, relatable messages and leveraging modern media channels to present military service as an empowering and prestigious choice. Shifting gears, we turn to a sociological study conducted by graduate student Belugusheva, who brings us direct insights from young people themselves about their perceptions of military service in modern Russia. From a sample of 30 young men, including both those who served and those who have not, the findings reveal a predominantly negative or neutral stance toward military service, about 70% expressing negativity. Concerns include outdated equipment, poor living conditions, and the infamous dedovshchina, or hazing culture. Many view the service as a waste of time rather than a career-building opportunity. Interestingly, the study found attitudes surprisingly consistent across those who served and those who have yet to, highlighting systemic challenges: corruption, hierarchical abuse, and a lack of incentive and modernization hinder both morale and motivation. The study concludes with recommendations to improve conditions, such as better food, updated gear, strict anti-corruption measures, and stronger integration with educational and civilian career paths. These changes could enhance youth motivation, helping the armed forces become not just a duty, but a valued professional avenue. Finally, we turn to a critical and concerning development documented by Alexander Kovalenko: the expansion of Russian recruitment efforts into Africa. Facing manpower shortages from heavy losses in Ukraine and domestic demographic challenges, Russia has increasingly turned to international recruitment. One notorious hub is South Africa, where a network centered on the BRICS Student Commission actively recruits young African men and women, some to work in military-industrial production, others as fighters. This recruitment effort is supported politically by figures linked to former South African President Jacob Zuma, illustrating the complicated geopolitical entanglements at play. Promotion happens via social media, local radio, and coordinated outreach, which paints employment in Russia as highly favorable, despite the underlying risks and moral concerns. The scale is unprecedented. Analysts predict that by 2026, up to 30,000 Africans may be recruited into Russian labor and military forces. This development resonates beyond Russia and Africa, raising significant international security and ethical challenges. Taken together, These perspectives give us a layered understanding of the military's role and perception in Russia today, from internal youth engagement and innovation efforts to sociological realities on the ground and expansive controversial international recruitment. As we reflect on these insights, it's clear the relationship between youth and military service is anything but simple. It intersects with culture, technology, politics, and ethics. What does military service mean in your community? How do innovation and tradition shape that view? We'd love for you to share your thoughts. Thank you for joining us on Voices of Today. Until next time, stay curious and engaged.